And we are back on Yankees Baseball Daily. On Tuesday, we spotlighted baseball's exhibition series between a team of major leaguers and the Chinese Taipei National Club. Well, their 5 games took place in Taiwan, and the Yankees' own Curtis Granderson was among the players who took part in them. It was the latest in a string of international trips for Granderson, and our Jack Curry was there with him.
Curtis, when you first got invited to Taiwan, why was this an appealing trip for you?
This is the first trip that not only do I get to continue the ambassador initiative that we've been doing throughout the world, but I get a chance to play. I get a chance to play with teammate Robinson Cano and other great players throughout the league and Major League Baseball. What better opportunity to do it than showcasing our talents against other great talented individuals throughout the world? It's been amazing. The fans greeting us in the airport, chasing us throughout the hotel, the media that's been following us so far, and all we've done is been here for a few hours, so I can't imagine what it's going to be like when we finally actually step on the field.
Curtis, we're walking through Snake Alley, and I want you to give me your definition of Snake Alley and what we've seen so far here.
Snake Alley would be the Asian version of the United States flea market, where you can get a little bit of everything from DVDs to clothes to accessories, and then they also have lots of food. I've seen sausages, I've seen juices, I've seen fruits, and one of the interesting things that we had was the snake's blood, and a bunch of us took a shot, which is supposed to help build and add strength. So a little bit of everything that you'll see here, just like you will, like I said, at home at our flea market.
Bases loaded here in the third. The 2-2. Oh, driven to right field. My, that slider up is a grand slam for the Grandy man.
Like I said all season long, I never think about trying to hit home runs. I'm just trying to go ahead and do something positive to help us win while we're over here and put on a good performance.
Curtis, we're at Martyr's Shrine, where these military guards stand here. They don't blink, they don't move for an hour. You're a guy who has to focus and concentrate in baseball. What kind of focus and concentration do you think this takes?
This is above and beyond where we are. To first of all, not blink. They said if a bug lands on them, anything touches them, they still have to hold their position for an hour straight. Not lock their knees. And you talk about good core strength, balance, discipline, all those different things that are needed for baseball, but this goes above and beyond that.
Curtis, you're finishing off a week-long trip to Taiwan. I'm going to give you an assignment. You're back in college. It's term paper time. You just visited Taiwan. What are some of the things about this trip that you're putting in that paper?
First and foremost, once you finally do get here, be open. The people here are very receptive. They want to show you about this great place in Taiwan. They want to teach you the language. They want to show you all the great spots to be. The cities have been amazing, from Taipei, obviously, which is probably the most popular one. Taichung and Kaohsiung, all of them have been amazing. Catch some baseball. Check the night markets out. Bring your negotiating skills so you can bargain and barter a little bit. And be ready to eat. The food has been amazing, some interesting things, and you're always going to be well fed.
We're lining up shots of snake blood in the studio. Willie and I are going to throw those down in a minute. Throw these numbers down in the meantime. How about the season that Curtis Granderson had? First in the American League in runs scored, in runs batted in, 41 home runs as well, an absolutely outstanding season. And we want to hope that you'll make a note of something in specific. November 29th coming up. Much more on Curtis Granderson with Jack Curry. Not only on his 2011 season and the incredible season he had, but his trip to Taiwan and what's ahead in 2012. It's a new show here on Yes. It's called Yankees Access. The first one featuring Curtis Granderson with Jack Curry, and it begins November 29th. All right, so let's talk a little more about Curtis Granderson. And Mark, you covered him all season long. And what did you see from him? Because rarely did you probably have to write about any slumps or lulls. He seemed to be one of their most consistent forces.
You know, it's funny, Bob. You look at the way he finished the 2010 season. He made those adjustments with Kevin Long mid-August and really tore it up the last 6 weeks. And the question was, would he be able to carry that into 2011, what he did against lefties? And right from opening day, hit the game-winning home run and just never looked back. He was able to carry it straight through 6 months. Everybody went through a slump at some point in the season, except it seemed him. And he and Robinson Cano really just single-handedly, each of them carried that lineup at certain times of the year.
And a lot was made of those adjustments. And, Willie, listen, you've coached all kinds of players, some stubborn, some receptive. It says a lot about a guy to make changes to his swing and then really just take off.
Yes, he's so locked in. It's unbelievable. I hope he stays there, man, because I'm telling you, he is just in a groove that, you know, it's like a basketball coming in right now. But you're right. Kevin's done a great job with him. Mark touched on it a little bit. But, I mean, it takes a lot of discipline to be able to stay with that. You know, you get into little ups and downs. Sometimes you get away from that. But Curtis has stayed just totally locked into his approach and everything. And it's a beautiful thing to watch. In Detroit, he was a little bit big on his swing. He's short, he's quick, but he's staying on the ball real well. And, wow, it's a pleasure to watch. We were talking about that in the clubhouse when I was with the Orioles last year. And we said, who's as locked in as this guy? I mean, over a period of over a year and a half or so.
Yeah, unbelievable. And, you know, it's interesting, John, because, you know, Curtis Granderson is a guy who is so laid back and accessible. You'd never say he plays with a chip on his shoulder, but he heard all the things coming from Detroit to New York that he couldn't do, including hitting left-handed pitchers. But 16 of his 41 home runs coming against lefties this year.
Yeah, it reminds me a little of Paul O'Neill. He had that reputation of not being able to hit left-handed pitching when he came from Cincinnati, and eventually he proved people wrong and showed that he could hit left-handed pitching almost as well as right-handed pitching. Similar situation with Granderson. Granderson's a little more of a power hitter than O'Neill, even though he's not as big a guy. When he hit 30 home runs in Comerica Park, playing home games in Comerica Park, that showed to me that he could hit a lot of home runs in Yankee Stadium. And 40 was not really a shock to a lot of us who really looked at that stat line and saw that power that he showed in Detroit. And just a terrific job all the way around. He may not look like he has a chip on his shoulder, but this guy is driven.